1 month into his term as mayor of New York City, Eric Adams is getting pushback from civil liberties advocates over his blueprint to end gun violence. The mayor unveiled his plan last week in a 15-page document that he calls a comprehensive strategy to crack down on gun violence in the city. One section in particular is especially concerning for people in Black and brown communities. All right, the mayor's plan says, quote, the NYPD will explore the responsible use of new technologies and software to identify dangerous individuals and those carrying weapons. This technology will not be the sole means to make arrests, but as another tool as part of larger case building efforts. But studies of different facial recognition systems have found that they were likely to misidentify Black and Asian people up to 100 times more than whites. And that's just one of the concerns experts have with the technology. Here to discuss is legal and operations tech executive Bari Williams. Good to see you again, Bari.
Good to see you too.
Look, you wrote a New York Times op-ed about intelligent policing and the gift and curse of technology. You work in tech, so talk about your love-hate relationship with it.
It is a tale as old as time. As much as you love something, you can have as equal amount of great disdain based on how it's used. I think something like AI algorithms are going to affect and touch every aspect of our lives. It already tells you, it gives you preferences in terms of what you should see in your social media feed. It tells you what you should buy. And now it's telling the police how to find you, where to find you, how to arrest you, and how to sentence you, and when to set you free. So, and all of this can start with facial recognition technology. So the pros that a lot of people tend to point to are, it will deter crime. Particularly if people know that they're being surveilled. You're more likely to be on your best behavior if you know people are watching you. The counterpoint to that is, but we don't always know that someone's watching us. So, and the analogous argument to that is if you are detained or you're arrested and put into a lineup, well, you know you're in a lineup. You know that someone is looking to identify you. If you are just walking the street and there are cameras here, there, and everywhere that are going into a database, and that can easily be matched with your passport, with your driver's license photo, any of that can and will be used against you. And the problem is you don't necessarily know when that's happening. And the other piece to that people tend to really gravitate towards is, oh, well, some cities have banned this. I live in Oakland. Oakland has banned it. San Francisco has banned it. But guess what? I also travel. So as soon as I step foot in an airport, that's out the window. And as soon as I step foot into, New York or Chicago, that's out the window. So your chances are you are being surveilled somewhere by some government agency.
Well, listen, you wrote this op-ed a while ago, and now you're raising the red flag again after hearing that Mayor Eric Adams plans to ramp up the use of technology in policing. What are the main concerns, other than what you just laid out, with regards to the facial recognition technology and the gun detection technology?
Yeah, the main problem that I would point to is with facial recognition technology, there is a greater inaccuracy rate when it comes to people of color, particularly Black and brown people. There was an article that was written that was a study about Amazon and their use of facial recognition technology. And they used to deploy this technology to law enforcement agencies. They have since put a moratorium on that, and so did Microsoft after the George Floyd protests of 2020. And IBM, which was also a government supplier of this technology, they exited the business entirely. So that's some bit of good news. But the main issue is that Amazon, who did give the government this technology, had an inaccuracy rate to the point where there was a lineup of Congressional Black Caucus members that they misidentified as felons. So if you are going to misidentify my congresswoman, I have no faith in the
Right.
idea that you're going to accurately identify someone that is walking on the street. Another distinction that I have noticed that people haven't necessarily touched upon yet is I know here the mask mandate is has since been lifted in Oakland and San Francisco for indoors for gyms and certain other establishments. But outside, most people are still wearing them. How exactly are you going to have accurate facial recognition technology deployed when people are wearing masks? Never mind the fact that you already have, let's see, let's call it a 60% accuracy rate. So you're already starting 40% behind the curve. Now throw on a mask. And how do you know that who you think it is actually the person that you think it is? And the answer to that is you don't.
You know, not to mention with this whole gun technology or gun detection technology, we Black people are always mistaken to have weapons as is with just basic objects, you know, like a cell phone, candy, a Coke bottle, whatever the case may be. So I can't imagine what this gun detection technology would do if that were actually implemented. I mean, we already have a criminal legal system that disproportionately polices and criminalizes Black people. So adding artificial intelligence can only exacerbate those issues, no?
It definitely can, and it's already exacerbating those issues right now. It's already in action. So there is actually gun detection that is being deployed that is used in New York City, and it's the second largest market, I believe, for this particular company, and it's called ShotSpotter, and it just detects gunfire. It kind of backs out the
Mm-hmm.
background of ambient noise and focuses on things that sound like guns. Now, if you that's a completely different company and type of technology. But if you are partnering that with facial recognition technology or surveillance cameras in certain areas, you could very easily come to the conclusion that, well, that person who was in that vicinity at the same time that those shots rang off may be the person that we need to talk to. But this is where you could also get into cases of mistaken identity. And there is a case from the summer of 2020 where there were thefts at a jewelry store in Detroit, and based on grainy surveillance footage, and the Detroit police admitted that it was grainy surveillance footage. They ran it through this technology that was facial recognition technology to provide matches in a database with Michigan driver's license and other ID cards. And they honed in on a particular person that they thought was the suspect. They showed up at that man's house and arrested him on his front lawn with in front of his 5-year-old and his 2-year-old daughters and his wife. All the while they're screaming, this is
Mm-hmm.
not him. And he gets to
Mm-hmm.
the station, they show him printouts of the footage, and he's like, this is not me. And literally held up the photo of the surveillance footage next to his face and said, you can't possibly think we all look alike. And how many times have we had to utter
Right.
that phrase in our lives? And eventually
No,
he
absolutely.
was let go and they realized that it was mistaken identity. But the problem with that is going to happen more often than not. And so you're using something that shouldn't be the basis for an arrest to make your main argument. And they admitted that that's what they were
Which
doing. The other problem with this
which
is that
brings me
once
to
you
my next
actually
point.
arrest someone, say again?
Bari, that actually brings me to my next point. What about this argument that, you know, by law enforcement that using tech won't be that sole means or sole basis for an arrest, but only as one of the many tools used in an investigation?
Yeah, it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be one tool that you use. I would say that one distinction that is very interesting to note is that in some of these cases, in jurisdictions, particularly in Florida, I know outside of there's a jurisdiction right outside of Tampa, a county, they don't have to disclose that they used facial recognition technology, and they do not have to share what the surveillance hits that they got based off of the results that they got. They don't have to share that with the defense. That is a problem.
Mm-hmm.
So you're using
Mm-hmm.
something as evidence against me, and I can't receive a copy of that. I can't have access to that in order to find a way to combat it or to prove to you that this is not me or this should be completely thrown out. That is another issue that people are not necessarily addressing. The larger problem is there is no federal legislation in terms of how and when this technology is used. So it is literally on a jurisdiction by jurisdiction basis. So what may happen in LA County won't happen in New York City, won't happen in Cook County and outside of Chicago. So you have to be very mindful that, there isn't a level playing field with any of this at this point in time.
And you got to wonder that, they obviously understand the false positives with the technology that they want to use, because if it was so reliable, then why couldn't it be the sole basis for an arrest? Bari Williams, thank you so
Mhm.
much for your time and your insight on this very important issue. I appreciate you. Thank you.